16, and this is Joshua saying, talking. If you haven't, say amen.
Amen.
All right, let's go. In the King James it says, now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood. Now I'm going to repeat that part. And put away the gods. That notice there's a little G, so it's letting you know that's not God, it's something else. Okay? Put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood, and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And then he continues, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve. Whether the gods which your fathers served, which were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And look at verse 16. And the people answered and said, God forbid that we should forsake the Lord to serve other gods. Just for a few minutes, I want to speak from a subject. Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Hey, you can ask your neighbor if you want to. But whose side are you on?
Whose side you on? For real?
Now,
what?
now I'm going to tell you, this message, this is not a really deep message. This is not one of those where you got to chew a little bit at a time. This is very self-explanatory. It's pretty straightforward. You got to choose a side, because there is a war going on. There is a war. So if anybody told you that you're not in the midst of a war, they lied to you.
Yes.
You're in the midst of a war. Now, in a war, there's some rules to war, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's some rules to war.
Yes.
Rule number one. You got to choose a side.
Amen.
Now you say, well, that's a no-brainer. No. Some people think they can be on more than one side in a war.
Right.
Let me give it to you in the natural, and then we're going to come back to the spiritual. In a war, in a natural war, if you're out on the battleground, and the guns are firing, the missiles are, being fired, and there's one side over here and there's one side over there, you can't stand in the middle and say, I'm not on that side and I'm not on that side. You're going to get hit by both sides. You got to choose a side. If you try to stay in the middle, nobody, catch this in the spirit, nobody, neither side is going to help you. That's why we are told that we can't straddle the fence.
Right.
Yes.
Because if you straddle the fence, the ones over there, they ain't helping you. The ones over here, they ain't helping you either. Because you're not on their side. That's why it says, I'd rather you be hot or cold.
Yep.
Don't be lukewarm, because if you're lukewarm, you have no one on your side. At least if you're cold, you have the option of being heated up.
Yes. Yes.
Because see, if you get if you get something out of the refrigerator, you know it's cold, right? It's been in the fridge, you know it's cold. You know you gotta heat it up.
Yes.
But if you see something laying on the counter, it might be warm, it might be cold, it might be hot. You don't know. You don't know because it's sitting out. And you got to test it to find out the condition. But if you see it in the refrigerator, you already, I got to put that in the microwave because it's been in the fridge, so I know it's cold.
Right.
See, See, in our spiritual life, see, if we're cold, then you already know what we're dealing with. For the unsaved, for ones that have not professed Jesus Christ as their Savior, we already know what that is.
Right.
So we already know, God already knows, okay, we got to get Christ on the inside, first and foremost. And then we begin to work, that salvation begins to work its way from the inside outward. You know what we're working with. But if you claim to be a believer,
Right.
but you don't live the life, whose side you on? Y'all know how we say, we commonly say, y'all, the streets don't love you. Don't we tell our young people that? The streets don't love you.
Right.
But how many times, watch this, how many times have we heard people say, I was shown more love in the streets than in the church?
That's true.
Yeah.
So apparently, there's some sort of connection being made. There's something being shown. Now, we understand that it's not real love, but there's some type of care that is shown that makes them feel love. Because they declare that's the side they're on. But when they make a decision, I don't want this anymore, there's usually some conflict.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't down with us no more? You can get out, but you gotta go through something. Why is that? Because now you're saying, I'm not on your side anymore. You have to choose a side.
That's right.
Can't fight on both sides. You can't come on this side, fire a few rounds, then put that gun down, then go on the other side and start shooting. You can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because as soon as you get to the other side, they're going to say, hey, ain't that the same one that was just shooting at us a minute ago?
Right.
But yet, in our spiritual lives, we try to do this all the time. See, I know this is one, this is not one of those shout messages. This one tight.
Come on.
This is a tight one. I already know when he gave it to me, it's tight. It's tight. I know my toes already crumbled up. Mine already got crumbled up. You cannot be on this side 1 minute and that side the next minute. Because what happens is, as you go back and forth, what's happening? You caught up in the crossfire. You get hit from every direction. In a war, you have to choose a side. Questionable loyalty will get you sent home.
Okay.
If they question whose side you on, you get relieved of duty real quick. And then, where'd that come from? Oh, that private right there? Oh, no, let's get his papers right now. He got to go, because we in a war. We ain't got time to be looking behind us, too.
That's good.
Disloyal soldiers are unusable. No matter how much talent they have. They could be some of the greatest minds. They could be some of the best sharpshooters. They could be some of the greatest engineers. Whatever talent they have, if their loyalty is in question, they can't be used. Why do you think it was such a big deal? I forgot the gentleman's name, but a few months back, maybe it was about a year ago, but there was a big issue with one of our high representatives who had found his way over in Russia. I wish I could think of his name right now, but he was a high-ranking official. He had been with CIA and all of this, and now he was in Russia, and there was some question about why he was there and what he had, what information he had leaked, and there was a big deal. Why? Because, okay, you over there, I don't know if I can trust you.
Right.
And he didn't want to come home because he already knew he was seen as an enemy back home now.
Right.
But in the place he was really an enemy.
Right.
So oftentimes in our Christian life, we find ourselves in the midst of a place where we're seeking asylum, we're seeking peace, we're seeking a way out. And we go to a place, or we go to some people, or we go to a thing, and we try to find comfort. We try to find that way out in that thing, only to find out that that thing is really an enemy to us.
Right.
That's true.
That's man.
And then we look back at the one place we can go and we say, wait, I'm an enemy to them now. I'm an enemy to God. I'm an enemy to the Christians. I'm an enemy to the church. And Satan uses that to keep you there.
Right.
They can't use you. They don't need you because we understand the rules of war, right?
Yeah.
But thank God he's such a loving, redeeming
Yeah.
God.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. We gonna get there. We almost done. In the rules of war, there's another rule that most of the world goes by, and that's take no prisoners. This is important. Take no prisoners. For the United States, when we are at war with someone, if they take one of our soldiers, we call them POWs. If they take one of our soldiers, it's an issue.
Yes.
It's a major issue. It could be one person. It's a major issue. They send delegates, they send, and depending on who or how many it is, it will start up another war.
Yes.
Because it's understood that, hey, we fighting, but you don't capture nobody. If they go down here, leave them alone, we'll come get them. Leave them alone. We're fighting. It's understood. What does that have to do with it? Because, see, in this text, Joshua, we know the children of Israel, God had granted them the promised land. He told them, hey, this land is yours, I'm blessing you, and all of that. And he's taking them through all of these things. They've had enemies, fighting them here and there, and all the stuff that they went through. But every time they would go, they would make it through something. God would bring them through. Then they would revert back to serving these idol gods. Sometimes it was the gods that they saw in the land around them. Sometimes it was the gods that their forefathers had served. Sometimes it was they were just serving themselves. But they kept going back to doing this. Over and over, they kept doing that. So Joshua comes and he says, look, I don't know why we keep doing this, but it's got to stop. We can't be on both sides.
Right.
We need to choose a side. Matter of fact, let's just come out right now. Let's just draw the line in the dirt, and either we're going to be on that side or this side. And I'm telling you which side I'm going to be on. And not just me, but my whole household, we over here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like that posture that he took. He didn't go back and say, all right, family, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about this. He didn't do that. Really? He didn't do that. He stood flat footed. He said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Flat out. And then he tells them, you got to choose. Which side? If it seems evil, if you think serving the Lord is wrong, don't serve him.
Right.
If you think that we just acting a fool, if you think we're wasting our time praying and fasting and reading this old book, fine. But don't pretend.
Right.
Amen.
you on my team.
Yes.
Don't act like you want me to pass you the ball when you really get ready to shoot at the other end. He says, choose a side. Take no prisoners. See, take no prisoners. Why is that important? Because most of the time when God commanded Israel to go and conquer somewhere, he would tell them, destroy everything. Destroy everything. See, this is the key. This is the heart of the message. He would tell them, destroy everything. Why did he want them to destroy everything? Because he's sending them, he's sending them to occupy something that he has declared is theirs.
Right.
But someone else had been renting it out for a little while. And he wants them to occupy the place and make it their own. He doesn't want them to utilize their stuff. Let me say it this way. He wants them to move in an empty house so he can bring in all new furniture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to fill every room. He doesn't want the furniture that was used by the previous occupant. And any of us that have, moved into homes or apartments or whatever, some furnished or not furnished, usually when we move into a new place, we like to have some, new things going into that new place.
Yeah.
Why? Because it gives us that feeling that, hey, this is new, it's a fresh start.
Yes.
Me and my wife, we've talked, I can't, when we move, I believe the Lord gonna bless us, we get new furniture. That stuff might just, it'll stay there, get sold, given away, something. But I want all new stuff.
Yes.
Because I want to bask in the fact that he's given me something new. And he's done a new thing in me and through me. I want to keep that mindset of new.
Yes.
So he would tell them, just destroy everything. Don't try to keep little stuff. Just destroy it all. And then there were times when he would say, destroy all the people, take them out. And then he would say, keep the spoil, or keep the valuable things that they've been holding for you. Because it's really yours. They just been occupying it for a little while. They were holding it down till you got there. So they were to capture what the enemy has been holding on to, but don't take prisoners. Don't try to hold on to old traditions. Don't try to hold on to those old habits. Don't try to hold on to, it might be some old friends. Whatever it is, he's saying, let that stuff go.
Yeah.
This is a new day. I'm giving you something new. You can't take this old stuff and try to refurbish it. I don't want to do that.
No.
He said, I'm trying to give you something new.
Right.
Yes.
And so, in a war, so again the question is, whose side are you on? So, let's look at this. He tells them straight up, it's time to fight. It's time out for the Christians to play church. That time is over. There are too many people that are leaving here. There are too many people that are so far from God, and they've never heard the true gospel. They've never seen true love because they've seen us play church. And that time is over. It's time out for that. It's time out for that. So I feel like I'm standing in the shoes of Joshua and saying this to the world that y'all got to choose. We cannot keep doing things the same way. We've got to make a decision. We got to draw a line in the sand.
Right.
And we've got to tell the world, I'm standing for God. I ain't taking it back. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how many people go with me.
Right.
I was watching this movie. I got a chance to share a little bit of this yesterday, but I was watching this movie, Daystar. If you ever watch Daystar on Saturday mornings, it will bless your soul. They have these parables. Yeah, you're shaking your head. Yes. They have these parable movies. Whew. They are beautiful. They come on about 6:30, somewhere in that area. They will bless you. I watched this movie this weekend, and there was this pastor. I'm not going to give you the whole story, but there was this pastor that he came to himself. He had one of those moments where he realized that he had not been doing everything in the manner that God wanted him to, is taking it as, would Jesus really do it this way? He wasn't approaching everything like that. So he challenged himself first. He said, y'all, I've been missing it. I've been playing church. That's kind of what he said. I've been going through the motions. I've been preaching. I've been doing those things, but there's some areas that I've been missing. I haven't shown love the way I need to. And he says, I'm going to make a challenge for the next year. I'm going to make a pledge. And every decision I make, I'm going to ask myself, what would Jesus do before I make the choice? And then he says, now anybody that's going to make this decision with me, if you're going to make the pledge with me, I'm going in the fellowship hall. Y'all follow me. Today's service is over. He walks out. About 4 or 5 people follow him out of the whole church. Church membership comes against him. A lot of other things happen. Things happen all throughout this movie. But he stayed on it. He did not bend. He would not break. He said, I don't know what's going to happen next. But I know that I'm going to do it God's way. I'm going to do what I think Jesus would do. I'm going to make the choice this day. And I can hear him standing, saying the words of Joshua. And I'm just now in that moment just realized how God set me up, because he gave me this message about 2 weeks ago. And it just hit me just now. And y'all know, I don't know nobody at Daystar.
Nope.
Wow. But he chooses. He says, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. For real. We're not going to play anymore. Now, if you with me, come on. If not, hey, that's all right. I'm done. Sermon over. Wow. And he stood, and I'll tell you, they were tested. They were tested.